Today is July 1st, 2024, and the National Registry Exam, the NREMT, has changed forever. The new Advanced EMT and Paramedic NREMT exams have started today. And if you're a student watching this video, whether you're in school right now or getting ready for National Registry, I'm going to detail to you right now in this video everything you got to know about the changes and how to prep for this new exam. The first change that we have, which I think is a great change, is the psychomotor exams are gone. They are limited. There will never be another National Registry psychomotor exam again. That is now the skills verification, skills testing is now done at the local level in the schools themselves. As part of you actually getting through and passing school, they're going to check your skills, right? As part of you going through clinicals, as part of your labs. With National Registry now, for every level, there is now just one written test. No more high stakes psychomotor practical exams. And what I think the best part about this is you may have heard the horror stories of students in one testing center. There would be someone who maybe was an easier proctor, one that was harder. It was very subjective. And students, one proctor, one little error could mean, oh, you got to redo your whole psychomotor again. One menial thing that didn't mean you didn't know how to do an IV, but there was one thing the proctor thought he saw. And that's all gone. Now it's simply, did you pass your written exam or did you not? And how do we pass a written exam? Quite simply, we have to understand the national content and actually know our stuff. And if we know our stuff, no matter what question, what style of question you throw at me or at you as a student, you'll know it because you understand the material. So that's number one. Now let's get into number two. Number two, well, here's the big difference. Right here, this is the Advanced EMT and its new percentage breakdown. Over here is the Paramedic new exam breakdown. What's the difference? Well, we still have the 5 main sections of registry: airway, respiration, ventilation, cardiology and resus, trauma, medical OBGYN, and EMS operations. But notice now over a third of your exam is something called clinical judgment. What this means, clinical judgment is your ability when the National Registry is going to give you a scenario and you're going to be walked through from the en route phase to the on scene next to the patient phase to the post scene phase where you're going to take action, right? So we have to analyze, understand cues that we see in our patient, match up. Okay, I'm seeing these signs, symptoms. This is their medical history. Here's the events leading up. I think they're having a heart attack. Or, okay, I see a skin condition. I see their medical history. I see their altered mental. I think this is hypoglycemia, right? That's clinical judgment. NREMT has released a treasure trove of information about these new exams. I'm going to give you all the information on that, so make sure you stay to the end of this video. I'm going to give it all to you. You can check it out. Now, I want to show you, these are 3 different types, meaning styles of questioning. Folks, the only thing that has changed with these new exams is the style of questioning, not the content, not the material of what you must know, just the style of questioning. So here are some of the styles of questions you will see. Again, clinical judgment will walk you through a scenario from en route, scene, and then the post scene. So here's an example of one new style of question that you may see. It's called a built list. We're going to build up a list based upon what the question is asking. Here's an example of what that looks like. Next is a drag and drop. So you're going to drag the item over to where it corresponds, again, based upon what they're asking. And then the third type that we have is a checkbox or an options box. We're going to check the appropriate box based upon, again, what the question's asking you. Again, it's just a different style of questioning versus the classic multiple choice check this one, fill in this box. Those are still going to be there, but we also have clinical judgment, and we have some difference in the style of questioning. So that's the big change. Now let's talk about, well, how do we prepare? As you know or may not know, as the paramedic coach, this is what I do for a living, is I prepare students for school and national registry to pass their exams. What is going to change with the study plan? Well, the study plan remains unchanged. The only difference would be getting understanding, which we're doing in this video right now, of what style of questions you're going to see, and start thinking about how we see a patient, signs, symptoms, medications, histories, tying it together. We've always done that here at the Paramedic Coach. So we can check that box off. So the study plan remains unchanged because the content remains unchanged. And what I always say, folks, if you know the information cold, if you know the information at a deep level, no matter what style of question you're thrown at, you're going to get the answer right, just like you would out in the field. So the study plan remains unchanged. We still got to know airway, respiration, ventilation, cardiology and recess, trauma, medical OBGYN, EMS ops. Folks, I got one better. NREMT literally has given us, and I have all these links we're going to go through in the description. They're all, check them out, all from National Registry, direct from National Registry. They've put out so much helpful information on these changes. They've given a sample study plan, what details exactly what skills you have to answer the clinical judgment questions, which we've kind of touched on a little bit. But what about the other sections? It reinforces what we've talked about in this channel for years, which is you have to understand the assessment, the pathophysiology, and the management. Now, how do I do that with my students? I call it my 1, 2, 3, 4 method. So folks, if you're trying to understand a medical emergency or a traumatic emergency or an illness or an injury, let's say asthma or COPD or hypoglycemia, right? Or let's say TBI, stroke, heart attack, whatever we're talking about, you got to tell me these 4 things about that emergency, that illness, that injury. If you can't tell me these 4 things, those questions might trip you up. So number 1, what I teach my students, and I'll put the list here. Number 1, you got to explain it to me simply. What is it? Number 2, what are the risk factors of this occurring? Meaning, what kind of medical history? What kind of patient? What kind of medications may I even see on a med list that might clue us in to, man, I'll give you an example. Let's say someone who is at risk of having a heart attack. They might be diabetic. They might have high blood pressure. They may have high cholesterol. They might smoke. They might have family history. They might have advanced age. To name a few. They might have previous heart attacks, previous strokes, right? Those are risk factors. Number 3 is you got to tell me the hallmark signs and symptoms. And number 4 is, well, how do we manage the patient? What medications do we give? What procedures do we do? If we can understand those 4 things, we're going to know it cold. We're going to know it cold. And no question will trip you up. So that is essentially, in a nutshell, your study plan based upon the content areas. Now, one point that we didn't touch on yet, I'm posting this video on day 1 here, July 1st, 2024. One thing we did not touch on yet that I want to include, this is a very important point. If you did not pass your written and psychomotor exam before July 1st, I'm going to give you a scenario. Let's say you passed the written, but you didn't have time to do psychomotor, or you failed your psychomotor. Now it's July 1st. It's a complete wash. You must go and take the new written exam for advanced EMT and paramedic. Remember, folks, this whole video talking about advanced EMT and paramedics. EMR and EMT remains unchanged. Now, on the flip side, what if you passed your psychomotor, but you didn't get a chance to take the written exam? Again, it's a complete wash. You have to take the new written exam. So, again, there will never be a psychomotor exam for any level of certification on National Registry. So, July 1st, bottom line, if you are not nationally registered, if you're not fully certified, you must sit for the new NREMT exam. Again, that's for advanced EMT and paramedics, because first responders and EMTs got rid of their practicals months ago. May have been over a year ago by now, but it was quite a long time ago, right? And again, those skills and practicals are done over at the local level. So folks, last piece I want you to go through, National Registry has done an amazing job. They've put out some really awesome podcasts. They've also put out a ton of information, different sample exam plans. They even put out, for paramedics and advanced EMTs, 15 sample questions where you can go in there and actually take like a simulated exam, just like NREMT, and it shows you the new clinical judgment style questions, and you can like test it out. It's awesome. I'm gonna link all that for you below. It's all on one page. Again, it's so easy. It's on all on one page for you. I'll put the link in the description for you. You won't miss it. And folks, here's the bottom line. No stress. There's no more practicals. We have one written exam. The study plan remains unchanged. You've now gained an awareness level of what style of questions you're going to encounter. We have examples of these clinical judgment questions on our site and the traditional NREMT questions as well, so you can see what these kind of look like. The study plan remains unchanged. You're still going to go through all your prep for airway, cardiology, trauma, medical, EMS ops, and you'll even get a little taste of the clinical judgment style questions and the multiple choice questions, so you're ready for your exam. By clicking in the first link in the description, you get lifetime access to my Video Vault program. The Video Vault includes over 480 videos of content and now holds over 2,000 National Registry practice test questions. Also includes some really awesome bonuses like worksheets, drug cards that are pre-filled out all for you, community group access to ask me questions, and audio files when you are on the go. The Video Vault will find you no matter where you're at, whether you're an EMR, EMT, advanced EMT, or paramedic student, and my students use this whether you are getting ready for school, in school right now, or getting ready to go pass your National Registry exams. So click the first link in the description right now and get yourself lifetime access to the Video Vault today. I'll see you there.